Hello, welcome to the United Man. Sorry about the technical issues there. Well, it looks like YouTube's changed it up a little bit, but in any case, yeah, we're finally live. Got a few bits to go through today. Obviously, want to touch on the Liverpool game first of all. Well, first and foremost, I should say. This seems to be a bit different than beforehand for some reason. But yeah, in any case, wanted to touch on the game. Obviously, we went off against Liverpool, didn't quite get the result we were hoping. I can't really say expecting. How's the audio sound, guys? Because I'm getting a bit of feedback here. Let's try something here. Is that better? Can you hear me better now? Okay. As I say, apologies for the late stream. Had a few technical difficulties. Hope you can hear me properly now. Can everyone hear me all right? Okay, right. I wanted to say first and foremost, it's so evident that we're missing a central midfield. Obviously, Rashford was missing tonight as well, so that was a big loss. But the central midfield area is where we are struggling the most, I fear. Unfortunately, I want to say that we're not too far off, but we're miles away. Obviously, Liverpool wasn't there in period sales as usual, but are signs encouraging for us? I don't think they are. We've got a lot to catch up on. We're playing catch up at the moment in terms of Liverpool, City, Leicester. I think they're the only ones really where we can say they're kind of above us at the moment, comfortably. But just disappointed because, say for example, we'd already made some signings, i.e., I don't know, a striker. No, Rashford's going to be out for a while. Central midfielder, the obvious one being Bruno Fernandes. I still feel like we need a centre back to go along with Maguire. If I'm completely honest, I don't feel like we've got that centre back partnership that we definitely need. That where you've got your Yap Stams, Ronnie Onsons, Vidic, obviously Rio, Perster, Bruce. I don't feel like we've got that in Maguire and Lindelof at the moment. So I feel we're like, it's affecting us. But the big thing is, as I said before, it's a central midfield. So yeah, all right, you'll have to bear with me because I'm not used to this. They've changed, YouTube have changed how it looks on here. So yeah, and I'll go to the comments here then. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Right, you have to bear with me, guys, because I was say YouTube's changed it up a little bit and trying to figure out how to read the comments as well. I'll tell you what, I'll just get up in here. But anyway, as I was saying beforehand, I feel like the difference in the team and how we're performing is central midfield, essentially. I don't feel like we're defensively, in terms of personnel who we've got, I don't think we're miles apart. Likewise, up top, obviously we've got Rashford injured now, as it were, but yeah, I don't feel like we're actually going to be, for want of a better word, where we should be ultimately. So yeah, I feel like we've got a lot of catching up to do, and it's kind of disappointing because we're just, yeah, as I say, we're at the moment we're a little bit way behind the rest of the Premier League, as it were. So yeah, let's have a look at. I wanted to try something, see if I can find some information on how we've done today. The Prem table. Okay, get rid of that one. Okay, so you can see where we are at the moment. So can you guys see that okay? With the Premier League table, obviously our form there, obviously showing up as Liverpool's loss. The loss to Liverpool, I should say, today. We're way off what we're on now. We're on 34, Liverpool on 64. Obviously in terms of goal difference as well, we're on 9, they're on 38. So yeah, you can see obviously we're miles off. They've not lost a game, we've now lost 7. Obviously they've won 21, we've only lost 9. yeah, it's not looking great. I think the difference is just there for all to see. I don't think that we're going to be able to do much. If I'm completely honest with you, I don't feel like we're going to be. I just feel like we're just missing so much at the moment. Did want to touch on some positions that I feel like we're missing as well. I feel like we're missing centre back, as I mentioned, 2 central midfielders and a striker as well. I feel like if we can get centre back for sure to go alongside Harry Maguire, then we'll be solid there. If we can get a central defensive midfielder, we'll be solid there. And if we can get Bruno Fernandes alongside Paul Pogba for the remainder of the season, then see how we go in the summer transfer window, then we'll be fine. But also, we're missing a striker now. Obviously, Rashford's out for a good while, so yeah, not looking great. Let's go to the comments. Obviously, guys, as you can see, trying something a little bit different this time. So you'll have to bear with me. Just go to the comments. I think Ryan and Anthony was here beforehand. For those who weren't with me beforehand, some technical issues. As you can see, I'm trying something different. So yeah, apologies for that, but yeah, we're here. So Ryan Anthony, how's it going, bro? Shrimply Pibbles, that's a nice one there. Jonathan Reed, we were lucky it wasn't 6. Good point. Ryan Anthony, how's it going, bro? Shrimply Pibbles said it. David De Gea saved us. Palmaris, how's it going, man? Rasmus, how's it going, bro? Who else we got there? Jonathan Reed. We're in dire need of signings. Couldn't have said it better myself, mate. Jahid Kamali. Clueless. Ollie doesn't know what they're doing in training. Good point. Rasmus, I thought you are not doing a stream. Yeah, well, we're here now. Jonathan Reed. Every United fan knew we needed a striker in the summer. When we all knew Lukaku was going, it is a bit of a disgrace, man. We all knew what the situation was. We all knew. Well, this, like I say, we let Lukaku go. Sanchez, not that Sanchez was doing very much, we let him go as well. We're bringing in a young lad in, Mason Greenwood, into the squad, so we couldn't expect loads from him, even though he scored 9 goals. That left Martial and Rashford, really. Obviously, Daniel James is a new face on the circuit as well. So, yeah, couldn't be expecting way too much. But there you go. Rasmus said, I can see why we're not willing to pay for Bruno 68 million. We have Pereira, who is going to surely win Ballon d'Or. Rasmus making a joke there about Pereira winning Ballon d'Ors. Rachel says, hi, Shane. How's it going, Rach? Is the vid meant to be like this? Yeah, it is, brother. Just catching up in the comments. Palmera saying, is the video meant to be like this? So yeah, just trying something new. As I say, just wanted to see if I can get some stats up and whatnot of the table. So we can see there, just going back to the league table, though, that's the point section there. We're on 34. If we're not careful, we'll end up, well, pretty low down. Obviously, we're on 34. You got Arsenal on 29, Everton on 29, Newcastle on 29. So that's only two losses and 2 wins for them guys. So, you know, we're not way off, you know, out of being in serious trouble. So, yeah, in any case, just going back to the points, I wanted to ask the question, can Ole actually get us back to where we're supposed to be? I.e., winning titles, challenging for titles, winning trophies. I don't know, in all honesty. Can he get us back to where we need to be? I don't feel like we're even close at the moment. I don't feel like we can. Well, we're in a position where we're going to be okay. We're 1 player off, or we're 2 players off. We're probably about half a team starting lineup, I should say, off. I can see us needing a good 5 players, 4 players to get anywhere near sort of Liverpool and City at the moment. Today, I think Liverpool are pretty comfortable. I think they've still got a game in hand, have they, as well, on the league title? Well, yeah. So they've played 22 games, so they've got a game in hand on pretty much everyone. So yeah, Liverpool running away with it, obviously, as if we didn't know already. Back to the comments. Where are we? Ryan Anthony, it's so funny how we are leading Haaland and Dortmund sign him, and then goes and scores a hat-trick on his debut. Good point, man. That one is typical Man United, I must say. Ryan Neat, no, said that one. Taimur Karim, this performance shows how dependent we are on Marcus Rashford. Great point, and I feel like we was playing him too much anyway. So an injury was kind of around the corner, and from what I was hearing, he was playing with a back injury as well. So that's not great in any case. Where are we? Jonathan Rees says we need a right wing as well. Good point. Dan James, again, Dan James was meant to be a project. He wasn't meant to be the answer, so to speak. He was meant to be someone that we was going to work on, try and develop, bring along. So, yeah, Dan James wasn't meant to be the answer. He was only meant to be someone that we're going to be bringing along the way. Go back to the comments. Raymond says we need two to three players now. Yet Bruno's deal isn't even done. What is Woodward doing? I still feel like those who see my videos before, I still feel like Bruno Fernandes deal is still going to happen. I don't believe that Woodward will. Well, I feel like Woodward knows he won't be able to get away with not signing Bruno. In all honesty, I feel like he knows that if he doesn't sign Bruno, that it's going to be, well, there's going to be trouble basically. So I feel like ultimately, yeah, Woodward knows that he has to make a signing, but why he's messing about in terms of agreeing fees and all that jazz, I do not know. That's just Woodward, how he is. Let's have a look. Chimizi Ogu, I don't know what Ollie is really doing. What is happening with the signings? Are we out there to scout for other clubs to buy? Good point. Obviously, we're highlighting that, yeah, we're after Bruno. Everyone knows that we're after Bruno. Problem is, everyone's happy to do a deal, apart from, it would seem, Woodward and his team, along with Matt Judge. It's just frustrating at this point. I don't feel like we're in a position to do anything about it at the moment. I don't know. We're just in a rut at the moment. I feel like we are. Madmart TV. Evening, mate. My prediction was correct, eh, mate? Yeah, you're right, mate. 2-0. Liverpool are back at it again, says the ultimatum. But we have to move on and try and complete that Bruno Fernandes signing. It's crucial for this season. Focus on Burnley and wait until Scott, Paul, Rashi are back. Good point there. That was the ultimatum. That's a good point. We are where we are. Are we going to improve too much this season? Are we going to get top four without significant movement? Obviously, with Rashford injured, Paul Pogba being injured, McTominay being injured, we haven't signed Bruno. As the ultimatum said, we need to basically consolidate now. So this is where we are at the moment. I feel like we need Bruno. I feel like we need Bruno to get anywhere near the top four. Rashford being out as well, it's just making things that much harder. So yeah, let's see where we go from there. Rasmus, where are we? No, Ollie doesn't have what it takes, and I am not willing to give him the chance to use us as an apprenticeship. Do you know what, Rasmus? That's actually a very good point, because Ollie is, let's be honest, he's learning on the job. His credentials before this was obviously Cardiff and Mulder, and obviously Mulder, not exactly a European top league and Norwegian league. Obviously he won the league there, but Cardiff, that's his only time. Well, his only real length of stint of time in the English leagues. Didn't do so well there either. So he really is learning on the job. He really is a bit of an apprentice, unfortunately. And if Man United were out there and there wasn't a manager in place, and we had, say, for example, 4 weeks, would you pick someone as a manager that only had 2 clubs as on his CV, and those 2 clubs were, one was like probably the 10th league in Europe in terms of how well known it was and how tough it was, and the other one was in a championship laden team where obviously, well, you got them relegated basically. But yeah, so you wouldn't pick a manager with that kind of CV. So I suppose it's done now. He's a club legend. That's what we all know. That's why he got the job. But fair enough, that's why he got the job. But ultimately, he's got to prove why he's going to keep it. So yeah, it's just a bit of a strange one. It really, really is. Let's have a look. Guys, drop a like on the video for me as well, please. Got 20 people watching the stream, so much appreciated for joining. Let's go back to the comments as well, see what you're saying. Right, so Werrison, showing I'm gutted we didn't get Haaland. This is the time we could have needed his support. Great point. This is exactly the time. Move Rashford out to, Marsh out to left whilst Rashford's out, and then slot Haaland in at the central area, and then yes, let him do his magic. But yeah, again, clearly Woodward knows best. Clearly, that's why we didn't sign him. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Right, where are we? Okay. Raymore says, I think Ollie needs to go. We need somebody that can shout and demand Woodward to get players for us. Ollie is too much of a yes man. For those of you that, again, have been on some of my videos before, you'll know that I've said previously that Ollie can be a bit of a yes man. I wouldn't say he's wholesomely a yes man, but he can be. He's not going to ball and shout and scream, ultimately like Mourinho did, and I suppose completely affect the morale at the club. But you do need to be able to ultimately stand on your own 2 feet and demand ultimately. So, and let's be honest, he doesn't have that in him. He doesn't have that in him. So, at this point, it's just kind of, watch this space and see how we go. See how we go from there. Let's see if we can find Bournemouth. That's some of the games there. It's the Liverpool game. Just trying to find some stats on the game, guys. All right, so you can see there Liverpool shots, and obviously had 16 shots, 5 on target for our 9 and 4. Liverpool's possession, you can see there for yourselves, guys. So, it was, I wouldn't say it was an even game by any means. Liverpool, they were more dominant than us, let's be honest. But yeah, if you just look at it in terms of the pass accuracy as well, the passes, I just feel like we've just, conceding goals from corners as well. I just feel like we're way off the pace. I just feel like we're nowhere near where we need to be in terms of catching up with Liverpool and City. Maltese Devil, Ollie can't do it alone. I think he needs some help in coaching department and from the board. Now, I'd go as far as to say is the board are not, in all honesty, supporting Ollie at the moment. He doesn't have the personnel. Obviously, they've sold players, they've got rid of players. Fine. Smalling, Young, Fellaini, Sanchez. Fine. But you need to bring players in to replace ultimately. So for me, whether Ollie's saying to the guys, he's fine with what he's got, which is where I say he's a bit of a yes man, because he needs to be demanding, I want this player to replace this player. I need that player to replace this player. At the minute, I don't feel like he's doing that. I don't feel like he's going to be able to sustain the job, in all honesty. I don't feel like he's got the nous. I don't think he has the authority. I don't think he has the respect to be able to see this Man United side through to where we need to be. There's an a difference of opinion is 10 million. So for the sake of that, I don't know, spend the money, get it in Champions League, of course. In revenue, of course. Shirt sales, of course. There's no reason not to go and spend the extra cash. Let's be honest with you. So the fact that, Wood was trying to, be the big I am, it just doesn't bode well. And, he's not obviously winning any fans over with messing about with deals again. So yeah, it's pointless. Let's see what the rest of you guys are saying. Chimizi, when it comes to the teams, we're using boys to play against men. Why? Good point. What happens if he starts Mata on a game like Liverpool instead of leaving him on the bench? So yeah, good point. Now, Andreas Pereira, for me, I'm not his biggest fan. You guys will know that, but I say that with the fact that he is, technically he's not the greatest. Ultimately, he's just not great. It's just not good enough for Man United. Let's just put it out there. I don't want to dress it up any more than it needs to be. He's just not good enough for Man United. So ultimately, it comes down to why is he still getting game time? Like you said, I know Lingard's not been great. So obviously that's another player that we can't rely on. But at least one matter recently has been showing that, and he's been, he's shown willingness to actually take the game on by the scruff of the neck and, go for it basically. Just go back to the comments as well. Before I do that, actually, I did want to ask the question as well. How do you feel about Harry Maguire being made captain? Because, I mean, I'm good with it, but that's only because there wasn't much of a choice. So yeah, that's what it comes down to for me. Yeah. So what do you think about Maguire being made permanent captain in Man United after 6 months Man United? Go back to the comments. Ryan Anthony, I keep seeing. Where's that gone now? I've seen reports saying that's Ryan Anthony. I've seen reports saying Bruno annoyed tomorrow. What's that mean, mate? My Mad Mark TV. Keep it up, pal. My favourite YouTuber. Nice one, mate. Ryan Anthony, zonal marking. That could work. Rachel says we really, really need fresh faces in the squad, and then some. I've listed 4 positions there, as I said before: centre back, 2 centre mids, and a striker. And that's obviously I think some mentioned as well about a right winger. So that's 5, really. Taymor Karim, Rashford could be out for 2 to 3 months. Yeah, I've seen that as well. And even without Rashford being out, we still needed to have someone else to affect the game up top, a different type of goal scorer. I was looking at someone slightly older, towards sort of like 27, 28. But now, our hand's been forced, I'd say. So you now got to go out and get someone that's your proven goal scorer. Martial's had quite a long time to prove himself. He's 23 now and still not pulling up trees, as it were. So that's quite a long while for someone not to be establishing themselves, really proving that, yeah, I can do it. That's a long time. So for me, need to be able to really go out and sign someone that's going to, get those goals that Rashford was getting. Rashford was on 19 goals, heading for a 30-goal season. So yeah. Go back to the comments. Red 92, Glazers out. Listen, we're all with you, man. We're all with you. Couldn't have said it better myself. Rachel says Ole is killing us. The ultimatum. What do you think about dropping Pereira off to centre mid position and having Lingard or Mata in the starting 11 until Bruno comes in, if he does? So addressing that point again about Bruno, I do believe it will end up at Man United. But yeah, dropping Pereira in the central midfield area. If that was the case, you'd have to play 1 CDM and 2 central midfielders, as opposed to 2 holding midfielders and 1 central midfielder. For me, that sort of surrenders possession to the opposition every time we do that. So yeah, I'd prefer Mata from what we've got available. So Matic, Mata, and Fred. I'd prefer that. Pereira for me is too. The kid's got the ability, but just this makes the wrong decisions all the time. All the time. I always say when he has time to think, makes the wrong choice. But yeah, that could work as well. But as like I say, a 4-1-2-3 as opposed to 4-2-1-3, which we've been playing. But I'll go back to the comments as well. Bruno's not coming, says Red 92. Ed is holding back, paying 30 mil extra. Like I say, man, 10, 15 mil, come on, man, even if it's 20 mil difference. If Bruno can make, he got 31 goals and 20 assists last season. Even if you halve that to 15 goals and 10 assists, that's a massive contribution. That's still 25 goals he's had a hand in throughout the season. So just needs to get a grip. Mr. Woodward does. Where are we? Draco, what's going on, my brother? I feel upset, to be honest, that Fred and Matic did well. Yeah, I can see why. I know what you're saying, man. Draco, yeah, man. I just can't see us being able to do anything positive without Pogba, without McTominay, without Rashford, and without any investment in January. Let's be honest. Without investment in January, we're just going to struggle and continue to struggle. So yeah, Ryan Anthony, Smaldini is a beast. Yeah, bring back Smalling. Ryan Anthony, stream is lagging. It's probably this new thing I'm trying, mate. Not a lot I can do right now, my brother. On the next stream, I'll just have it back how it was before. Just my big round ugly mug on the screen. Red 92. Then the Euros in the summer. Who we buying? With no Champions League, we're done for. That's a good point. Champions League football is crucial. Let's be honest. Without Champions League, we can't go to the likes of Jadon Sancho and say, look, we had a poor season last season, but look what we're working with. Now we're back in Champions League. Come along, and we can sell that to the likes, I don't know, Timo Werner as well. Who knows? But without Champions League, yeah, we're in a predicament. Likewise, for keeping the likes of Pogba, how are we going to go to Pogba and say, yeah, stay here, when we've got no Champions League to offer him? Rasmus is, where's that gone now? Rasmus, a question. Would you care if we overpay for players? I myself don't care because it isn't going to be reinvested in the squad anyways. Rasmus, no, I don't. Listen, overpaying. Now, if the board / Woodward and the board were constantly, reinvesting in the squad, then you could say, look, maybe not spend the extra 30 million on this player. Let's, go elsewhere. But like you said, as it stands at the moment, we're not going to be paying. We are going to be paying over the odds. We're not in Champions League. We're not in a winning position in terms of winning league. So to buy quality, we're going to have to pay. We're going to stump up on the wages, and we're definitely going to have to stump up on the transfer fee. So yeah, I don't mind paying over the odds. It is what it is. That's the situation and predicament we're in at the moment. So no, don't mind paying over the odds. Where are we? Badass Dad, what's going on? Man United, where are you going this season? More results, no players. I hate to say it, but no hope. That's from Badass Dad. There is there no hope? Is that how you guys feel as well? Raymond Moore, with Rashford out for months, can we still get top 4 and win anything this season? Good question. It all depends on investment. If we don't go and buy quality that can affect our starting 11 in a positive way, then no, we're not going to win anything and we're not going to get top 4. As simple as that. Bruno Fernandes, as I said before, he wouldn't be enough anyway on his own. But the fact that now Rashford's injured, where's the goals going to come from? Martial, on and off. He's like a 1 in 3 game he'll turn up. 1 in 3 games he'll turn up, or 1 in 4 games he'll turn up. That's why he's only got, what is he on 11 goals now? Yeah, without any investment this January, we're probably going to be looking in between 6th and 8th at the moment. Without Rashford, I mean, as well. So Pogba, we struggled with Pogba and Rashford. Rashford wasn't banging it in like he is this season, but obviously Pogba's out, Rashford's out, Scott McTominay's out. We haven't had any investment. There's no creativity. We're leaking goals. Yeah, we're going to struggle massively, absolutely massively. So we're going to need loads. Badass Dad said, who else is there to be captain in the squad? David De Gea is probably the only person that you could legitimately say could be captain for us. Anyone got any realistic ideas of a striker the club could bring in this window? So that was from Maltese Devil. Maltese, that's a very good question. Realistically, Edinson Cavani, his contract is running out this summer. Pay 10 mil, bring him in. Why not? He's a proven goal scorer in the past. Obviously, he's, years of getting on. He's 32, 33, something like that. Why not? Why not go and spend that money? Put him up top, Martial on the left, because obviously Martial playing down the middle, he's not been anywhere near consistent enough. At least with someone like Cavani, he's going to go and challenge the opposition through work rate. Some of his runs, he's going to give them something to think about in behind as well. He's very good in the air. So yeah, he's a good team players, but I don't know, these guys maybe don't think like that. Someone like Timo Werner, that's more of a summer signing than a January signing, obviously. But there's just not a lot of players out there that's going to be available in January to affect our starting lineup in that position. I feel like there's a few midfielders that could affect our starting lineup that's available in January. Not defenders though, unfortunately. Right wing is probably one for the summer, and I think we all know who we're going after for that. That's Mr. Sancho himself. Right, where are we? Just keep jumping up and down. Taymor Karim, Harry is the only captain material player we have. That's a good point. Martial or Greenwood gets injured, we're really done for, says Red 92. Yeah, no, that's a good point, man. Well, Martial isn't really being consistent in terms of goal scoring or being a goal threat. However, he is our best option for a goal at the moment. Greenwood, I wouldn't want to put any pressure on Greenwood at all. I think for Greenwood, this is a free season. This is his first full season. Just let him come in and out as in the team as and when, and just go from there, really. Shame for director of football, says Draco Evolve. That's funny. Appreciate that, bro. Yeah, I'd like to see director of football who can't do it because of conflict of interest now is Gary Neville. The guy would go in there and tell Woodward what to do, sit him down, get his finger out, start wagging the finger, and yeah, give him what for. But yeah, it's obvious that Woodward doesn't want to relinquish any power whatsoever, hence why we don't have a director of football right now. Listen, it's football, unfortunately. Money talks, teams know you're desperate for players. Teams will ransom you for their players. I think League Two got good players who are available. That's badass, Dad. You joker. Is Koulibaly deal still on for us? PSG trying to do us dirty. Listen, Koulibaly, the only reason that he's available is because Napoli needs some cash. That's the only reason. But again, it comes down to the old Champions League thing. If he sees us, battling for third and fourth, maybe he'd consider it and he'd jump in with us and help us get Champions League. But, we're not near that position at the moment. Well, we're not showing like we're going to be battling for that position at the moment because we're so inconsistent. But, if he goes to PSG, he knows if he goes to PSG, he's going to be playing Champions League every season. He knows he's going to be winning the league pretty much every season as well, albeit, where did they rank the French league? Was it fifth best league? Fourth or fifth best league in Europe? But anyway, he's going to win titles there. Simple as that. He's going to be in the Champions League. Simple as that. What can we offer Koulibaly right now other than a struggle? Realistically. Not to say I wouldn't love him in there. Get the best years out of him. He's 28 now, I think he is. So 28, 29. Where are we? Yeah, but Martial was used as a winger, a position where he isn't the best. I think he is becoming a good, reliable player, but the midfield isn't that good enough to get him into attacking situations. Listen, the supply, like I said, today, it's evident the midfield is nowhere near good enough. And it's not just today, it's been the whole season and the season before that. The midfield is way off the pace, simple as that. So, as the ultimatum said there, we're not getting our strikers the opportunities. Rashford makes a lot of his own opportunities. Rashford makes a lot of chances. With Pogba missing, we're hardly getting anything. Matt has been doing his little bit as he's come in and whatnot. But no, we're hardly getting anything from our central midfielders because they're just not good enough. Simple as that. It's not even their fault. They're just not good enough. So what can they do? They're not miraculously. We're going to become like Kevin De Bruyne or even Pogba overnight. So as someone who was watching the Benfica and Sporting game was watching Bruno Fernandes and said he's like Kante, De Bruyne and Pogba all in one. That made me laugh, man. Who are ya? Europa League all the way. Badass Dad said, yeah. Come on, keep it coming, you little doo doo. Mr. Kajar, why would anyone with a brain uh, want that dab merchant to stay? Dab merchant. I've not seen Pogba do the dab for a while actually, but yeah, ultimately with Pogba, who's you look at the squad, who's got the most quality in this squad? Ultimately, it's Pogba in terms of ability, technical ability, physical ability. He's the best player by far in the squad. Having said that, I've said in my videos before that there is no one player bigger than the club. For me, like Wayne Rooney did, he'd come out saying he wants to leave Man United, but then he done a 180 and said now he wants to stay, he wants to do this, he wants to do that, and then became a club legend, the all-time leading goal scorer at Man United. So for me, it takes something like that for Pogba to do 180. But Rooney is from England, so most English players see Man United as the pinnacle, whereas players from in and around Europe, they see your Real Madrids, your Barcelonas as the pinnacle as well. So it's a bit different. Any thoughts on Koulibaly? Says Ryan Anthony. I can't see it happening. Not with PSG sniffing around, and with us struggling. Why? Why is it going to come? I'd like to see it, but realistically, I'll always be realistic with you guys. Can't see it happening, man. Really can't. Koulibaly is 29. Napoli want silly money. No telling if he settles in the Prem. Yeah, good point. But I think the advantage and that was from Mr. Kadja, by the way. The advantage that Koulibaly has is physically he'd be able to handle the Premier League. Physically, he hands down he can handle it. In terms of the tempo and whatnot, if he has like the rest of the season, he could adjust to that. Then he's got the pre-season. Then he starts afresh next season. So yeah, for me, Koulibaly could adjust to the Premier League. I'd feel. Well, sorry, Taymor Karim. If we pay 80 mil for Maguire, why can't Woodward pay 60 for Fernandes, who has scored over 20 goals this season? In a season, good point. There is no reason why he shouldn't. Ultimately, it just comes down to Woodward trying to play it smart, I suppose, or the board saying to him, no, you can't go and spend this much money, even though we earn so much. It's just, it's ridiculous at this point. Woodward could have bought Bruno and Maguire last season and saved 50 mil. Great point there, Mr. Kajar. Yeah, he could have, but for some reason we weren't interested, which I believe is a lie anyway. Yeah. Dan James has fallen. Where's it gone now? Cavani is a good shout. Maltese Devil says, Joel Abraham, I would love Ollie more if he resigned. Better late than never. Listen, I can't see that happening myself, but it's one of those situations where you just like, come on, man. What are you going to do? I can't see Ollie resigning. No way. He loves Man United too much. But yeah, I see your point. But who are we going to bring in? Who would be the alternative? I'd say personally, do everything you can to get Giggs. But that's wishful thinking. But again, Giggs doesn't have a resume in club management. So it's some would say it's jumping from A to B, which doesn't make any difference. So yeah, we've tried a club legend. Now we've tried experience. We've tried a winner. We've tried a club favourite or director's favourite in Alex Ferguson, choosing Dave Moyes. Where would we go from here? I don't know. So yeah, it's one of those where you just like, where do we go from here? There's just no telling. So it's just frustrating. At this point in time, it's just frustrating. I don't feel like we've got any real outlets. Thoughts on bringing in someone like Jimenez or Mitrovic? Jimenez, for me, he's not a prolific goal scorer. We need a prolific goal scorer. So for me, I'd rather wait till the summer and take our beatings now than buy someone that's just for buying sake, if you like. For me, Jimenez is not. Is he better than Martial? Is he anywhere near Rashford? For me, the answer is no and no. Hence why he's not a prolific goal scorer for Wolves. Never has been. So I just can't see it. Mitrovic is a different type of striker, but is he going to get you 15 to 20 goals? Probably not a season. And we've got to remember, if we are looking to sign someone in the summer, which we probably are, as striker wise, we can't bring in someone too top notch now, as it then affects us in the summer. Or do we go for that top notch striker now, pay over the odds? As I've already said, I don't mind. But then, are they available? That's the problem. It's the availability of January, because it's mid-season. Because then, if we go and buy someone's top striker, they're going to want to replace them. Or if they can't replace their top striker, they're going to want double the money. So or we're going to go and get someone's reject who's not playing very much. And that's the situation we're in at the minute. We're not in a position of where we can choose. We're not in a position of any kind of. We're a beggar. We're not a chooser. Put it that way. So obviously Bruno Fernandes is our preferred choice at the moment, and the only sign that we're looking like getting in. Who would you guys want to see as well as a potential second signing? I don't know. Let's go back to the comments. We need to make improvements, and Jimenez isn't improved. That was Ryan Anthony of Martial. I agree. Maltese Devil. That's a shame. I think he'd loved it at United and would have bullied some defenders. That was Maltese Devil. If you're talking about Raul Jimenez, he works hard, but like I said, we need a goal scorer. We don't need another squad player. We need a goal scorer. We need someone that's going to come in and affect the starting lineup. So let's go back to the comments then as well. Ryan Anthony, imagine if Ronaldo came back to the end of his career at United. That would be amazing. But because he's a poacher now, isn't he? That's all Ronaldo is now, as a poacher. Whereas in Maltese Devil, he's a top striker. Mr. Kaja, quality is nothing without commitment. Great point there. You can get someone that's quality, but if they're not committed, they're going to be another Alexis Sanchez possibly. So great point there, Mr. Kaja. And I think that was possibly the case with Paulo Dybala in the summer. We was going to pay about 300. Well, he wanted 350 in wages, but he wouldn't have been committed to the cause, would he? Where are we in the comments? In my opinion, we need a proper striker that doesn't leave the penalty area very often. That's taking it back a bit there, Maltese Devil. And we're talking about a Van Nistelrooy there. I don't think there's too many in the world like that. But that'd be very good. Mr. Kajar says Giggs would just be Ole 2.0. A new manager would continue to concrete over the bigger issues at the club, which is the ownership and their puppets. As I said, Giggs doesn't have much of a resume, as did Solskjaer. One thing I believe Giggs would command is respect to the players, and also the board, because of his stature at Manchester United. I believe that he would be able to attract top players, again because of his stature, as a legend throughout football, not just Manchester United. So I believe that Giggs would be a draw to players as well coming in, and like I said, he'd get that respect out of the players, so he'd get every ounce of out of the players that was available. And I feel like he's a lot bigger of a legend than Ollie is at the club as well. Where are we? Rasmus says, why can't we get players on loan? Spurs got their target on an 18-month loan deal. We did it also with Tevez. Yeah, good point. Again, the predicament that we're in now is that players aren't available, so a loan deal may not be the worst option. We're not the club that we once were, so we can't be turning our noses up at certain deals or offers or situations, because ultimately we're just not what we were. Simple as that. Let's have a look. The ultimatum says, I don't think Delo looked lively today for the short amount of time he was on. He looked better than Wan-Bissaka. Worst performance by Aaron in the Man United shirt so far, and I love the guy. Yeah, the old Mason, that's a good point, man. But listen, man, that's his first bad, performance, as you say, throughout whole of pre-season, the whole of this season. So, but the only thing I'd say about that is you wouldn't want him to have his worst game against the best team. So listen, one thing I'll say about Wan-Bissaka, the way he played against Man City kept obviously Sterling in his pocket. I just think it's like De Gea, man. Like De Gea was our player of the season 4 times, and that's because he's doing extraordinary stuff. And no one else was. But now De Gea is in a position where I feel like he's just fed up. He's just fed up of trying, because what's he doing his best for? Obviously these guys get paid tons and tons of money, but ultimately human beings. He's been brilliant for so long, and now he's hit a brick wall, it seems. I don't know. It's we'll have to see. Let's have a look. Where are we now? Mad Mark TV, don't forget your wallet. Like I do, yeah. Raymond Moore, are you buying the idea that some fan channels said that United don't have money anymore to buy players, despite all our players are the highest paid in the league? No, Raymond, that's not the case. If you see I think we're third. We've had the third highest turnover again in terms of richest clubs in Europe, in the world, obviously, behind Real Madrid and Barcelona. So yeah, no, don't let him kid you. That's not the case. How much money the Glazers are taking out of the club, though, I have no clue. So I can't comment on how much money the Glazers are taking out. But in terms of what the revenue we're bringing in, we're number 3 in the world. That's only behind Real Madrid and Barcelona. So if you've got Chelsea spending loads of money, I know they've got sugar daddies and Man City as well, but we can go and spend like the rest of them. We can go and outbid like the rest of them. But as I said, what the Glazers doing behind the scenes, I don't know. So whether they're holding out for the summer, there's no idea. We've got no idea. Not forgetting the beginning of the transfer window, just before the beginning of the transfer window last summer, Woodward came out and says, look, we're going to go and back Ollie. We're going to buy players that's needed for the club, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's one of those. Joel Abraham, we need a world-class manager who can coach, a.k.a. Poch. Could Poch do something potentially with this group? I don't know. All I do know is these injuries are killing us, man. And if we don't do something in the transfer window, we're looking at 6th, 8th, maybe even worse. As I showed you before in terms of the table, I think it was 5 points between us and Arsenal in 10th, and then on 29 points. So yeah, it's just not worth thinking about if we don't reinvest in this window. AWB didn't look great today because he had James to cover. Shaw had Williams. Poor form to judge him off the performance and praise Shaw. Listen, I think we're just going by, and that's from Mr. Kadra, I just think we're just going by Wan-Bissaka's high standard set by himself. The Spider, a.k.a. Spider. Yeah, I'm not worried about Wan-Bissaka at all, man. And yeah, Dan James normally does trap back a fair bit as well. But again, Dan James, he's meant to be a project man. He wasn't meant to be starting every single game. The kid's, he needs a break as well, man. But yeah, that's how it is at the moment. Anyway, Taylor McCream, do you think we should give Wan-Bissaka a rest and give Delo a few games? By all means, we shouldn't be burning our players out. Don't forget, these are all young players, man. 19, 20, 21, 22. They're all young players that, yes, they're getting experience. Yes, they're getting game time. But it also needs to be balanced with rest. If you're just chucking them out there, and that's the thing I don't think Ollie understands. You can't just, there you go, keep playing, and think they're going to be able to play at that standard. It's the mental toughness that takes as well to continue to play at a consistently high level. It's not easy. Physically, obviously, it's tiring. Physically, you're going to get knocks and bruises and whatnot. But the mentality side of things, to keep playing at such a high, consistent level, when the rest of your team aren't playing at that level is such a hard thing to do. So yeah, likewise with Pogba, if Pogba had better players around him, I believe you'd get more consistency out of him as well. Pogba isn't a Roy Keane, he's not a Paul Scholes. Mentality-wise, ability-wise, he certainly has it, and sometimes and more in some cases. But in terms of technical ability, but mentally, he's not those guys. So yeah, he won't. That's why he can't do it on his own. He needs quality around him, like he has everywhere else. That's why you see quality performances consistently from Pogba when he was at Juventus, when he was at France, every single time, because he has quality players around him. He, mentally, he's not switching off. He's not thinking, these guys around me are crap. What's the point? Which I'm sure he has done. Which is where I think David De Gea is now. What's the point in me keep trying when all the rest of these guys are crap? Where are we? Maltese Devil, I'm not convinced Poch is ready for United. He wasn't good enough for Spurs, and United is a hell of a lot bigger club / job than Spurs. Good point, but I think Man United is different. You'd like to think he'll have the money to invest, but Poch is certainly more of what you got to look at is is Pochettino a better coach than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Yes, he is. Is he a better tactician than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Yes, he is. Does he have more experience than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Yes, he is. Does he know how to better manage than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? I don't know. So those things, you've got to look at. Does he know how to run a club better than Ole? Not that he ran the club at Tottenham, but within the system, does he know how to? Yeah, he probably does. He had Daniel Levy as his guy to work with in terms of signing players, which don't come much more shrewd than that, and he worked with that. Don't forget, he had the same squad, pretty much the same squad with Spurs for quite some time, and he done really well. So not forgetting he was in the Champions League final last season. So obviously things didn't go well, players didn't react, and I think we always forget that it's not just about the manager all the time. You have the board above them, the director of football above them. You have the players below them. That it's the one factor isn't always just the coach. You do get your certain instances where the coach can come in and just go boom and lift the whole place, like Jurgen Klopp, like Fergie did. But that's few and far between. Go back to the comments, guys. Rasmus says, I don't think AWB, Aaron Bissaka, was just puzzled by the formation. He is possibly not suited to a 5-3-2 formation. Do you know what? With AWB, if you're going to play 5 at the back, my thing would be, when you're going against certain teams, you can play Lindelof as a back three, Lindelof, Maguire, and Wan-Bissaka as a sweeper. One as a defender, for me, there isn't many better. In the air, obviously, he'd need some work, but on the ground, anywhere near that, he's, for me, defensively, he's the best. And that's not just me. As I said, you've got ex-pros saying the same thing as well. Martin Keown being one of those. Alan Shearer being one of those. Gary Lineker being one of those. And these guys were top goal scorers and top defenders. So it's not just me saying that. But I'd like to see him part of a back three. As a ball winner, there's none better than him. Show me a better ball winner than Wan-Bissaka. Yeah. And then I'd look at playing Delo as a right wing back, because he's got the energy and he's very good at going forward. And I'd have Brandon Williams on that left hand side. When Pogba's fit, I'd play him with McTominay in a 2, and I'd have 3 up top: Rashford, Daniel James, and Greenwood or Martial. That's what I'd do. But in certain games. Killian says, great channel, keep the good work. Sad we lost today, but we need to focus to win the next match now. Cheers. Killian, short and sweet, much appreciated, man. Couldn't agree with you more, man. It's a shame we didn't get the win today. But yeah, there's going to be many more games to come. There's going to be many more opportunities. We've just got so many injuries right now, so many injuries. So look at the defenders. We've got Rojo, Bailly's coming back, Timmy Fosu-Mensah's coming back, Luke Shaw's just come back from injury, Chukwuezebe's injured. Who else we've got? Pogba, McTominay, Rashford. Who else? Lost count. But we've just got a lot of injuries in the squad right now. Ethan Laird, who I believe could challenge Delo for a right wing back spot. should Wan-Bissaka move into a back three? All those sort of things I would have thought that some would have thought, Wan-Bissaka is the best tackler on the team. Why not put him in the back three? Or Wan-Bissaka is the best tackler on the team. Why not try him in the CDM position? I'll patent that, by the way, guys. Josu Vieco, West Side. Players do their best. The coach and board is messing bad. Yeah, couldn't agree more, man. Players don't always do their best, but yeah, I agree. The board's letting them down, man. Something chronic. The club is in bad need of investment, and if the board don't want to invest, the club can't move forward. They only fall behind. Kevin Achaga, Bruno should come in our team plus a good striker. Completely agree with that. I think Bruno will, and I think we'll need to buy a striker now. And I believe we're looking at two central. Excuse me, hiccups. I believe we're looking at two central midfielders before Rashford got injured. I now believe Ole's focus will move from two central midfielders to one central midfielder and a striker. If he's smart, and if we already know some people above Ole aren't that smart, but if they were smart, they'd sign two central midfielders and a striker in this January transfer window. If they were smart. Will he have a better squad? No. Will he deal with Woodward? Yes. Glazers, yes. Money, God knows. Now, that's a good point there. Maltese Devil. Mr. Kadja, AWB is probably the best tackler in the league. Mr. Kadja, I couldn't agree with you more, my man. I genuinely believe that he is the best ball winner in the entire team. Probably the best ball winner on the ground. That is not aerially, but on the ground, I believe he's the best one-on-one defender in the league. I've said it numerous times, but as I said already before, I'm not the only one. You've got ex-professionals saying that very same thing. The lad's 21 years of age. He was a former winger. When he came to Crystal Palace, he was a winger. But such is his natural ability to win the ball. He's been converted into a wing back. So yeah, there you go. Where did it go? Josu Vieco Westside says Shaw was good in centre back. Sometimes players have to do makeshift jobs from time to time, but I wouldn't want to see him there for an extended period. Let's say. Maltese Devil, new to your channel. It's great and honest opinions, which is refreshing. Keep it up, matey. Much appreciated there, Maltese Devil, man. Much appreciated for love, man. I'll always keep doing what I'm doing, man. I'll always keep being straight with yous. Rachel says, I think they should withhold wages if performances don't improve. That is a massive point. I feel like wages should be more performance-based. That won't happen unless it's a because if we just start doing that, players just won't come to us. But I believe that's a very good point, that in terms of wages, across board should be more performance-based, based on how many assists they get, how many goals they get, how many tackles they make for Wan-Bissaka's sake. If it was Wan-Bissaka, he'd be earning all the bonuses in the world. But yeah, it's a great point. I don't know if they could do it now because they've already signed up to contract, but definitely going forward, but that have to be something that'd be European wide. Otherwise, players just wouldn't come to Man United. But yeah, that's a fantastic point. Ray Moore, why was Ole clapping at the end of the game today? He's done this a few times, Raymond. He really has. Fergie would have been furious with the loss. I know Ole is all about positivity, but this is sending the wrong message to the team. That's a fantastic point there, Raymond. This is against Liverpool, not forgetting. Likewise, if with City, there's certain things. Listen, I know it's just a small gesture, but those small gestures mean a lot. So like you say, walking off the pitch, smiling and clapping, and there's just certain things that you don't do against certain teams, and Liverpool's one of them, man. You got to take it ultra seriously when it comes to Liverpool and City. There are derbies, there are rivals, so yeah, there's certain teams you just don't do certain things with, and I like you said, he's Mr. Positive, and I can't fault that because he's the opposite from Mourinho, who's Mr. Negative. But yeah, we need a happy medium, man. And that being said, I think Poch is that guy. Maybe, who knows? Not that I'm saying to get rid of Ollie, but ultimately you have to ask the question: can Ollie take us back to where we need to be? And that's challenging, winning. For me, that's a no. But I wouldn't say sack him now just because of that anyway, because that doesn't get us anywhere. Joel Abraham, what about Milik from Napoli? That's not a bad shout actually there, Joel. But I don't believe he's available. Like I was saying, for us to be buying someone's starting striker, their leading goal scorer, we'd end up paying double because that's their leading goal scorer in Serie A, which is one of the top leagues. So we'd end up paying massive amounts of money, and we don't know if he'd be successful in this country. He's a good striker, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if he'd pull it off in the Premier League. I'm not saying he wouldn't, but I just don't know. It'd be worth looking at that in the summer. He's that type of physical striker. He's very good in the air as well. Not very good, I say he's good in the air. He's a lot better than what we've got in terms of aerial presence, which is what we need right now. Look at how successful Ibrahimovic was. He's very slow, but he was highly effective because he was very physical, technically brilliant, very good in the air, and good with his off the ball movement. So yeah, those types of players can work. As well. Where are we? Our players are the highest paid in the league. Yeah, our players are the highest paid. They are. That's why you can look at the terms of saying, Man United don't have the money to reinvest, because that is a load of rubbish. We've got the money to sustain paying massive wages like we have done, like we're still paying Sanchez's wages right now. So yeah, we've got the money. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. As I say, you look at the revenue streams that's just come through. Was it last week before? And we're third behind Real Madrid and Barcelona. So no one can tell me that we don't have enough money. We're not earning enough money. Code mode 24. You can't counter attack with Andreas because the final ball forward is not good enough. He gives away possession way too easily and also loses us the ball with poor decision making. That's all it is with Pereira. I say that's all, but that's the main thing. Is his decision making. Technically, he has what it takes technically, but the mental capacity to make the right choices and the right decisions in split moments is where his downfall is, and that's why ultimately he's not going to ever be good enough for Man United. He's 24, 25. He's not a young kid. He wouldn't even be anywhere near this squad, a few years ago, but such is our toil at the moment. He's starting for us, so that just shows how far we are away. John McDonald says, now you know why we should have bought Haaland. 20 million is peanuts. Now Rashford's out for two months. I couldn't agree more. I don't know. I just feel like it's like Groundhog Day, man. We're making the same mistakes, which ultimately is going to kick us in the backside. One thing is guaranteed throughout a season is loss of form, or loss of confidence, or injury. Those three things, especially with strikers, man. Because obviously, what's a defender's job to do? Stop a striker scoring. And they're going to be leaning on them, kicking on them, tripping them, all that kind of stuff. So loss of form, loss of confidence, and injury. And we only had Rashford, Martial, and an 17 turned 18-year-old in Mason Greenwood. And Daniel James, player we signed from the Championship that's unproven. So that's a lot you're putting on a young lad, and a lad from the Championship that we've just signed. And Rashford started the season as 21, he's 22 now. Martial started the season as 22, he's 23 now. It's a lot you put on inexperienced shoulders, which I don't feel was right. So Haaland would have been absolutely a good buy. And I feel like the deal, from what I read, was the deal didn't actually end up going through because we wouldn't commit first team place to him, or a starting 11 place. He knew that his ability commanded a start in someone's team. That's what he knew. So yeah, and he just goes off and scores a hat-trick in his debut off the bench. Mad. Yeah. Joel Abraham, can we win the league this decade? I'm laughing because I don't know. Honestly don't know. That's how far we've fallen, man. And I'm so despondent when it comes to that kind of thing because we shouldn't be, we shouldn't be in this predicament where we're thinking, can we win the league in the next 10 years? I don't feel like it's going to be that long if we reinvest, man. If we spend the money that we have the ability to spend, then I don't think it'll be that long before we start winning again. That's the difference between us and most other teams. But the difference between us and most other teams want to spend the money to improve, whereas we're just not spending the money because people like to keep it in their pockets. Just saying. Maltese Devil, can I ask, are you Ole in or time to go? Maltese Devil, you asking me that question, man. I don't think it's, unless we're going to bring in someone that we're certain can impact the team with what we have available. It's pointless getting rid of Ole now. Is it better to do it in the summer? Again, it could be the same thing. I'd rather see the season out with Ole, and then come May the 10th or whatever, whenever this season ends, then make a change, and giving a new manager the full pre-season and the full transfer window to get stuff done. Otherwise, buy the players that Ole wants right now. If we're not planning on replacing Ole, get Ole the players that he wants. No, because he's got a pretty good resume with the players he's bought already. Daniel James, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire. If you're not going to support Ole now, then I suppose that's the only reason that you'd make a change. But if you are going to support Ole and stick with Ole, get him the players that he wants, man. But yeah, I'll stick with Ole to the end of the season. It's kind of pointless changing it now because we're in the transfer window now. New manager is going to have very little time. No, it's pointless. I'd leave it to the end of the season and then make a change. So manager has a full pre-season and a full transfer window as well. Ole out, he's killing us, says Rachel. I can see why anyone would say, look, Ole out. But I feel, like I say, because where's our signings, man? Where's our backing? You can say even in the summer we needed 5 players. We got 3, 2 that actually are in our starting lineup. As I say, Daniel James wasn't meant to be a starter, but he is. For me, we needed 4 players to come in and affect our starting lineup. We got 2. So where's the support? Likewise now, we're on the 19th of January, 20th tomorrow, obviously, and we've got 11 days left. Where's our signings? Where's Ole's signings, as it were? John McDonald, Fred was good today. He's getting better every game, but Pereira's crap. Yeah, Pereira shouldn't be anywhere near the squad. Or at best, he's a lad that you play in the Europa League or you play in the League Cup. He's not someone that should be starting every single game and be on the bench in every game. He's someone that shouldn't be looking to Pereira at all. Mr. Kajar says, you've seen Keane almost stabbed Carroll on Sky Sports after the game while talking about Ole getting... Yeah, I know what you mean, man. Listen, Keane's passion is second to none. But even this day and age, how players are now, I don't think players would be able to handle Keane's intensity. That's why he won't get a job most places, unfortunately, now. And it's sad to see a player ex-player like Roy Keane not being given an opportunity because of his intensity, ultimately. Dig that hole. Pete UK says, Ole in. Roman's not built in a day. Ole needs backing off the United board and needs money. Money's there, just ain't got the backing. That's what it comes down to. The money's there, just hasn't got the backing at the moment. So that's Ole in there from Dig that hole, Pete UK. Mr. Kajar, 2 of Ole's 3 signings were scouted and requested by Mourinho. Yep, that's true. he's had one signing of his own. Technically, that's a good point. Yeah, I just feel like we've got Maguire should have been here last season. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka as well. That's that, but still, ultimately, that's not Ollie's fault. That's the board acting slowly, but and not listening, in effect. John McDonald, the problem ain't Ollie, it's Woodward. He's penny pinching. It's the board and Ollie. And Woodward. Sorry, not Ollie. But Ollie, that's the question. Would another manager be able to do better than what Ollie's doing right now? If there was a different manager in Man United at the moment, would he be able to do better than what Ollie's doing right now? That's a question I'll pose to everyone. And if he would, who's that manager? Who would you have instead of Ollie right now? What's the chances of another manager doing better than Ollie right now? So that's my question to you guys. What else we got? No Dirt Restoration Services says Ollie said he had the money, he chooses not to spend. I think if Ollie goes to Woodward and says, right, these are the players I want, Woodward no doubt would have said, yes, we've got money to spend. And Ollie would have said, these are the players I want, or not, as the case may be. So if Ollie's not said to Woodward, I want this, and this player, then yes, Ollie's fault. But if Ollie's going to Woodward and saying, I want this, and this player, and Woodward and his team or the board are saying no, or not getting the deals done, then that's down to them. Because obviously if Ollie's identifying players, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent for the team, if the board and Woodward are deciding not to get these deals done or vetoing these deals for whatever reason, then it's down to the board. If Ollie isn't giving this board the players he wants, then it's Ollie's fault. But if they're not getting it, then it's the board's fault. Adil Chana, hello, how's it going, Adil? Good to see you, man. Code Mode 24. The sad thing is our board had no intention of signing mids until our injuries and how Champions League in Liverpool brought in a bright young CAM right when January started. Yeah, that's a good point, man. It's a good point. You're right. I don't feel like the board were looking to spend any money on a striker, that's for sure. Central midfield, possibly, yeah. But anywhere else, I don't feel like they were looking to spend any money. I agree with you there. Bruno, please come to us or else we're gone. Says Adil. Yeah, that's a good point, man. Dig that hole. Pete says, if Bruno we need to look at other... Yeah, we need to look at... Basically, if Bruno isn't coming, we need to look at other players. I completely agree, mate. Mr. Kejar, subscribe to United Stan. Boo this man, boo him. Who subscribed to the United Stan, mate? Adil Chana. Sky have reported that Bruno is begging Sporting to let him in. Yeah, listen. Whether or not, listen, we all know Bruno Fernandes wants to come to Man United. That's not the problem. We all know that Ollie wants Bruno Fernandes. That's not the problem. Sporting want to sell him. That's not the problem. Man United have the cash to buy him. That's not the problem. The problem is whoever has that finger to push that green button or the red button, that's believed to be Woodward and the board. So the problem is solely down to Woodward and his team not putting the deal through. That's where it comes down to. So for me, that's the blame is solely put on Woodward on this one. He's the one that comes out in it before the transfer window saying, yeah, we've got money to spend. Yeah. But he's not spending it. Simple. So it's down. Like I said, if Ollie's giving his players a list of players to Woodward saying, I want this player, I want that player, and Woodward isn't buying them, that's Woodward's fault, not Ollie's. Ray Moore says, what about Ernesto Valverde? He just got sacked by Barcelona. I feel like we need someone that's got some experience of the Premier League, because otherwise that's just, um, yeah, there's been numerous managers that have come in and just failed because they don't know how it works in the Premier League. I feel like we need someone that has got experience of the Premier League, or is super duper experienced in management, as a winner. John McDonald, in all honesty, I don't think we have got the money to spend. Trust me, if we don't buy anyone this month, hopefully we'll be sold, please God, and the Glazers will be gone. Good point there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's a case of, I feel like money wise, I don't feel like that's the problem. I feel like the problem is, as I said, Ollie's submitting the players to the board, and they're not buying them, or Ollie isn't submitting the players to the board. I think it'll be the former, where Ollie's submitting players to the board that he wants, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. Mr. Kajar says, you're subscribed to them. You just had a notification pop up, lol. Yeah, man, I'm subscribed to quite a few United channels, but yeah. Listen, it's a funny story saying that. The reason I actually started YouTube, I started YouTube in May of last year, and the reason I started is because I'd watch the United stand, and I thought I thought I had different opinions. I won't say better opinions. I thought I had different opinions, and that's ultimately why I started. I was going to start the year before, but I taught myself out of it. But I thought, why not? I've got opinions. I've got facts and stats in my head and whatnot. So yeah, just do it. Like I said, ultimately it came down to, because I used to watch. I used to watch some of these other fan channels. That's why. That's why I decided to do it myself. So yeah. I do some work with full-time Devils as well. I have done for the past 5-6 weeks, but yeah, it's one of those. But yeah, I support a lot of fan channels, to be fair. I'm not one of those people that sort of like, say, oh, I don't like them. Listen, other people have their own views and whatnot. I'm not going to say I'm better than any one other person, but that's just it. And everyone has their own opinions, and I have mine. But ultimately, that's why I started, because I used to watch, and I still do watch other fan channels as well. I'm not someone that's my head. I'm too good to watch someone else. I'm not. So yeah. Don't get as much time to watch them anymore though, because I'm busy with my own stuff. But yeah, that's my backstory, as it were. Where did we get to? Rachel says, yeah, Shane's cool, mate. Yeah, man, I try to be. Raymond Moore, I like your channel. You're a cool guy. Thank you very much, Raymond. Much appreciate, my man. Just doing things my own way. I've got another question for you guys, because obviously I mentioned earlier, and this is not an easy question to answer. I mentioned earlier a few positions that we need to buy. I mentioned centre back, centre mids, and striker. Who's the one player, even if we sign Bruno Fernandes, who's that other one player that you'd sign in this January transfer window? So Bruno Fernandes, assuming he comes, what's the one other player that you guys would say you'd like to sign? I've got one in mind, but I want to see what you guys think as well. We'll come back to that one. I think what's interesting is, with Rashford being injured now, who are we going to turn to? That's the question. I think Rashford was our go-to guy this season. At the beginning of the season, I hold my hands up. I said, look, I can't see Rashford being a 15 to 20 goal guy, or a 20 goal to 25 goal guy. He was on course for 30 goals this season, man, in all competitions. Can you imagine that? He just needed to score 2 goals every month between now and May, and he would have reached 30. But obviously he's injured now, so it's going to be a lot harder to do that. So yeah. So some of you are saying, Rachel's saying Samari, Bubakari Samari. Dig That Hole says Bubakari Samari, I'm assuming as well. So yeah, there's a lot of speculation. The one player I'd like to see, come to Man United realistically is Edson for Cavani. I've said it for a while now. If we get Bruno Fernandes, then I'd like to see Cavani, because ultimately I don't want someone to come in as a striker and limit Mason Greenwood's opportunities. I don't want to see someone come in and steal his opportunities, because they're going to be in the squad for the next 7 to 8 years. I feel like if we get someone of Edison Cavani's quality who can affect us now and isn't going to be around for the next 5-6 years to stifle Greenwood's development, then I think that's better. And he's also going to help Greenwood develop, because he's going to see a different type of player. He's going to see a player with a different type of mentality, who works really hard. So for me, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of how he can benefit Greenwood as well, and also the starting 11 now. No Restoration Service says Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey is a very good player. He's not always a starter for Atletico Madrid either, so which is a strange one, but saying that they've got a wealth of midfielders, man. They've got Sol Niguez, they've got Koke, they just sold Rodriguez to Man City, and they've got Thomas Partey as well. So yeah. John McDonald, the Glazers are ruining our club. We need to get rid of them. Couldn't agree more. Raymond Moore says Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish is one that could happen in the January transfer window, but I don't see us making a go from right now. Rachel also said Timo Werner. That's another one that could possibly happen. Koulibaly would be immense. Just can't see it in the January transfer window unless we have to spend loads of money, which I don't think Woodward wants to do. Obviously, he doesn't want to even spend 50 million on Bruno Fernandes. Raymond Moore, since Rashford is out, I guess Cavani is more crucial. Even if Rashford was still fit, I'd still say Cavani, because we struggle. Even when if Rashford isn't scoring, we struggle. And I feel like we need a different type of striker, because that takes pressure off our defence. It takes pressure off our midfield. If we've got someone that we can, launch the ball into, in effect, and score that type of goal. Mr. Kajar, Ramos, Mr. Kajar, we have so many holes in the first 11, let alone the squad. It's impossible to name one. That's why I said it's a hard question, man. Okay, let's do it then. So starting in goal, keep De Gea, keep Wan-Bissaka, keep Maguire, keep Brandon Williams. That leaves one centre-back. That one centre-back for me would be Koulibaly or Raphael Varane. Raphael Varane probably isn't going to happen. Midfield, Pogba, Fernandes. I'd add one CDM to that. That CDM for me would be Boubakary Soumaré. Left mid, keep Rashford. Up top, I'd have a striker, Cavani. And at right mid, Jadon Sancho. It's not going to happen, but yeah. Anyway, going to leave it there, guys. Much appreciated for you joining me, and I shall see you next week. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later, guys.